to order. This is a meeting of the regular City Council meeting. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026, and it is 5:30 p.m. At this time, we're going to have an invocation from Councilman Graham and the Pledge of Allegiance from Councilman Arona.
Father, we are so grateful to you, Father, for the many blessings you've given us, this town and our families, and everything we have you've given us, Father. And we just ask for your Spirit, Father, to lead us and guide us in the direction that you would have this town to go, and that you watch over us and protect us, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, if you have your cell phones, please make sure they're on silent. And I'm going to open the floor for public comments. This is a time for residents to share with the council any comments, concerns, and/or compliments that they may have. Each speaker is asked to limit their time to 3 minutes. Please come to the podium and state your name for record-keeping purposes. Your comments should be directed to the City Council as a whole and should be related to city business. We ask that everyone remain civil and avoid profanity, threats, or personal attacks on individuals. If comments become disruptive, stray from city business, or violate these rules of decorum, I may pause or end the speaker's time so that we can continue with the meeting. The public comment period is reserved for members of the public. Council members cannot speak during public comments as public speakers, respond to comments made, or get into discussions on any public comment. Such discussions require an agenda item. Are there any public comments at this time?
Hello. My name is Claire Weineck, and I'm currently a pre-K teacher at Austin Elementary. Working with these children daily, I see the brightness in their eyes and sadly also the dimness of their future when we talk about filling the environment with things like data and Bitcoin centers instead of preserving their precious resources. Earlier this year, during Dr. Seuss Week, we read the Lorax. Sadly, I think Dr. Seuss illustrates perfectly the greed and gluttony of corporations and their willingness to trade off our quality of life for their personal gain. As we grapple with these decisions and the future of our community, I would like to ask you to reflect on your intention for the future of our city. Is it just growth? Is it financial gain? Or is it to create a better quality of life for those of us who call this home? I have heard the perfected sales pitches, and they do not paint the full picture. I implore you to do more research before allowing these centers to shape our community for the worse. According to the World Resources Institute, large facilities can use up to 5 million gallons of water a day, equivalent to the water usage of a town populated by 50,000 people daily. What science or data do we have that suggests that we can sustain that on top of the needs of our oil field and the community? Since I know this is framed as jobs, progress, and opportunity, let's talk about the jobs we stand to create. Through a review done by the World Resources Institute, 1,200 data centers, they found that even the largest data centers have fewer than 150 permanent employees and many times as few as 25. Will the few long-term jobs created be worth the misery you bring to the residents who live close to them? Will the jobs we create be worth the water insecurity, depletion, and pollution that is already plaguing other communities around the nation? Will the jobs be worth the skyrocketing energy prices that will come to the residents of this community? Will the jobs be worth it for those that live next to a center that produces never-ending noise to 100 decibels, which is equivalent to that of a jackhammer? Will the long-term jobs be worth the yet-to-be-fully-discovered health implications that will surely come? Will the long-term jobs be worth completely eliminating the dark skies that we used to take pride in and the natural inhabitants that will further be displaced? The Pulitzer Prize Center reviewed 25 years of heat data that revealed heat islands visible from space. Do you think any proposed data center location has any room to become hotter? If not us, they will surely find somewhere else who will fall for their sales pitch. It is up to you all to protect these residents, to make decisions in their best interest, and we need your discernment and critical evaluation on something such as this that will dictate our future in such an impactful way. I think it is very clear that these centers in and near our community are not in our best interest. Please do not prioritize growth over our community's well-being. Conserve our resources. Choose people over profit. Choose our health and quality of life over industry. Other communities have demanded moratoriums to study long-term impact on local infrastructure and health, and I think it's the least that you could do when so many people's health, resources, and quality of life are at stake. It is not your job to fulfill these corporate quotas on a rush time frame, too quick for people to catch on and ask questions. It is your job to act in the best interest of your constituents.
I'm sorry, you're out of time.
Thank you for your time.
Any other public comments? Okay, we'll close our public comment section. We'll go to our consent agenda. Item E1, approve the minutes of the April 23rd, 2026 regular city council meeting. E2, review the expenditure report. E3, approved resolution 26-05-01R, a resolution ratifying the submittal of a grant application for the 2027 Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority SB 224 Catalytic Converter Grant Program for the Police Department.
On line item number 48, the Pecos Golf Association, Charles, what was that for?
That was some funding that Savannah had. That was for advertising related to that. She had it in her budget to do that. It was for advertising.
What was she advertising?
It was
The
on-
city, the CVB, Randy. She was putting the city out there on for the golf tournament and stuff like that.
Okay, just the city in general, though.
Yes, sir. The city and the CVB.
No,
in general.
it was for the Sadie Hawkins Golf Tournament, which we had over half of our field were from out of town. Of 72 teams, over half of them
Yeah, and
were
I
from out of
think
town.
I think what it intended is having a logo at every single hole or something like that is what it was, Randy. That's what it was. To put some type of advertising, asking them along with a QR code to look at every single hole.
And this is nothing new, we've done this every
Well,
year.
it's within our budget, and so it's within the budget that was approved by council back in October. And so there's discretion on how to utilize that.
I just was wondering, I know it's in the budget, but is it wondering if they could advertise something specific in the city or just general?
It's mainly, it's going to advertise just the city in general, like Randy, but it also has the CVB logo on it that has a QR code that we're hoping that people use that QR code in order to look at everything. And that QR code takes you to a page that talks about everything that's going on in the city, including the city's website and our data pages out there. And the boot trail and all of the above things that the CVB is now trying to push. So it's like it's a platform to push it out to the community. I don't know that we get any data feedback on it, so I don't know exactly how many
Hits,
looks
maybe.
up were
Well,
hits on
we
that.
had to track, I'm part of the organizer, we had to track zip codes for them. And so we got everybody's zip code, so we knew how many people were from out of town, how many people were from in town. And we knew that some of the ones from out of town, you could tell where they were from, so they obviously spent the night because they couldn't make the trip back and forth.
But they didn't come as a result of our advertising.
No, they came for the golf tournament, but we advertised so they would come back.
Are we gonna advertise in the rodeo this year?
There was not anything available for us to do that. That's one of the reasons why we did the event for the Soul Lost Rodeo. That put it out there where it will be, it was on the last time's agenda to where there was a $25,000 contribution that is going to be on all of the shirts that all of the athletes for Soul Lost use in every single rodeo across the country.
No, but I'm talking about the Pecos rodeo.
There were no options available out there. That's what they said. They were sold out. That's what we did that.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilman Morona, second from Councilman Moran to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries. We go to item F1, recognition of Dorinda Mion, Director of the West of the Pecos Museum, for outstanding leadership and community service. This is under Strategic Goal 5, promote open and consistent communication. Arthur Rowe.
Thank you, Mayor, for the privilege of doing this today. It's been a long time coming, Dorinda. Personally, I'd like to just say thank you. I've known you for the short time that this lady here has worked with you. I've missed a lot of things in that museum that I should have been paying attention to a long time ago. With that said, good evening, everyone. Tonight, the town of Pecos City is proud to recognize a truly remarkable individual for her outstanding leadership, dedication, lifelong service to our community. For the past 51 years, that's a long time. Dorinda has been a dedicated part of the West of the Pecos Museum, an extraordinary force in the Pecos community. Through her passion for preserving our history, celebrating our traditions, and serving others, she has touched generations of families, helped shape the spirit and pride of Pecos. Dorinda's impact reaches far beyond the museum walls. Throughout the years, she has generously devoted her time, creativity, and leadership to countless organizations, events, and programs that have strengthened our community and created lasting memories for so many. She has served as a Girl Scout leader and worked with Christmas for Kids, Friends of the Leader of the Library, Leadership in Pecos, Pecos Main Street, the Pecos Cantaloupe Festival, Cantaloupe Food Show, and the Kids Cantaloupe Decorating Activities. For 28 years, she chaired the Women's Division Pretty Baby Contest and helped organize Golden Girl, the women's cantaloupe activities that became cherished traditions for local families. Dorinda has also been an active member of the Catholic Daughters of the Americas for more than 30 years, contributing her time and talent to numerous community service projects. Her vision and creativity can be seen throughout our community. Dorinda helped landscape Pecosville Park, and the Boot Trail project began to show original idea and passion. For the past 14 years, she has organized Trunk or Treat, welcoming nearly 1,500 children every year to enjoy one of Pecos' most beloved traditions. One of her most meaningful accomplishments has been the Christmas tree decorating program with local school children, a tradition she has led for 34 years. This incredible program inspired the planting of more than 200 trees across area school campuses and continue to welcome over 1,200 students each Christmas season. She has also dedicated 38 years to the museum's Students Art Festival, encouraging and celebrating the artistic talents of young people throughout our area. Her dedication to education, community engagement continued throughout organizing the Mother Goose Parade, historical trivia games, hospital health fair activities, and historical scavenger hunts that encourage residents to learn more about the rich history of Pecos. Dorinda has also served as a member of the East County Historical Committee and is a charter member of Keep Pecos Beautiful. For more than 5 decades, Dorinda has given this community her heart, energy, creativity, and dedication. Her efforts have preserved our history, strengthened community traditions, and beautified our town, and enriched the lives of countless children and families. Tonight, on behalf of the town of Pecos City and our entire community, we proudly recognize and honor Dorinda for her remarkable years of service and thank her for the lasting legacy she continues to leave in Pecos. Please join me in congratulating and thanking Dorinda for her extraordinary commitment to our community. For your service, dedication.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we could take a picture with Clarissa. Clarissa is actually Ms. Dorinda's daughter, and she works for the city of Pecos. So.
Can I send him lunch?
Please don't speak loud. Speak short. I need my glasses. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to sincerely thank the town of Pecos City, City Council, especially Councilman Orona, City Manager Mr. Leno, and Mayor Teresa Winkles for this wonderful recognition. I am truly honored and deeply humbled. I also want to thank my family, who's hiding back there, who have supported me through all these long hours, many projects over the years. Their love, patience, and encouragement have meant more than words can say. To my museum family, some of them back there, our caring and dedicated staff and volunteers, thank you for your hard work, friendship, and commitment. I'm also grateful to my museum board for always believing in me and supporting my many ideas throughout the years. And finally, thank you to the people of Pecos. This community has been my home, my inspiration, and my extended family. Throughout the years, volunteering with various organizations and community events has enriched my life in countless ways. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute, even if it's in a small way, to the betterment of our community. Those experiences have taught me the value of service, unity, and giving back. I have learned that when we all contribute to our community, we are all benefit, and together we can continue making Pecos a better place for our family. For more than 50 years, I have had the privilege of doing something that I truly love. Hope I don't get emotional. Every day at the West of the Pecos Museum has been an adventure and an opportunity to learn something new. I feel blessed to have played a small part in preserving the rich history of our beloved community and for future generations. I have always believed that our history is important because it honors the hardworking people who have built this community and made Pecos the special place we proudly call home. Each of you, in one way or another, have contributed to the growth and spirit of the town. There's a saying, if you do something you love, you will never work a day in your life. That has certainly been true for me. Serving this community has never felt like work. It has been a joy and a privilege. Thank you again to the town of Pecos City, City Council, Mayor Winkles, Mr. Leno, and everyone who supported both the West Las Vegas Museum and me throughout the years. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, and may God continue to bless our wonderful community with good people, prosperity, and a bright future. Thank you.
We'll go to item F2, recognition of the top 10 seniors of the Pecos High School class of 2026, including special commendation to the valedictorian and salutatorian, and further congratulations to the graduating senior class on their upcoming commencement. This is goal 5, promote open and consistent communication. And the students cannot be here tonight because they have another award ceremony. But I would like to take a moment to recognize the top 10 seniors of the Pecos High School class of 2026. These students have shown tremendous discipline and perseverance throughout their academic journey, and tonight we're proud to celebrate their achievements here at the City Council. Being named among the top 10 of your graduating class is no small accomplishment. It reflects years of hard work, long nights, commitment, and the support of families, teachers, mentors, and friends who help encourage you along the way. We would also like to give special recognition to this year's valedictorian, Diana Delgado, the daughter of one of our city staff, Jose Luis Delgado. Congratulations to you and your family on this incredible achievement. Your success is a proud moment not only for your family, but for our entire community as well. In addition, we want to recognize this year's salutatorian, Catherine Cole, a former member of the Pecos Youth Advisory Commission and a city summer intern. It is truly rewarding to see one of our young community leaders continue to excel academically and represent Pecos in such a positive way. We are very proud of your accomplishments and look forward to seeing what your future holds. On behalf of the City Council and the town of Pecos City, we would like to extend our congratulations to the entire graduating senior class on your upcoming commencement ceremony on May the 28th, 2026. Graduation is an important milestone and the beginning of an exciting new chapter in your lives. To all the seniors, whether your next step is college, trade school, military service, or entering the workforce, we wish you success, happiness, and continued growth in all that you do. Congratulations once again to the top 10 seniors in the entire Pecos High School senior class of 2026. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause. We do have certificates for them, and we'll get those to them at a later date. We will go on to item F3, discuss, consider resolution 26-05-02R, a resolution authorizing the city manager to direct city staff to prepare and submit an application for the fiscal year 2026 Safe Streets and Roads for All, the SS4A, implementation grant funds, approving the use of the in-kind land donations and other matching funds as needed, and further authorizing the city manager to execute any grant agreement should funds be awarded. This is Strategic Goal 2, Safe and Secure City. Griffin Moreland.
Mayor and Council, Griffin Moreland, Assistant to the City Manager. In your packet, you will find Resolution 26-05-02R. This is pretty much a direct continuation of our council meeting last month, where we, or rather y'all, passed the Safety Action Plan. That was the culmination of 8 months of work between the city staff, stakeholders in the community, y'all, as well as various other entities. And we are pleased to bring this back to you to let you know that next Friday we are, as city staff, planning, with y'all's blessing tonight, to apply for the implementation grant funds that I spoke of at last meeting, to narrow down kind of the big cloud that we were talking about last meeting. We are going after the full 25 million, which is the maximum amount we're going to be able to ask for. And we're going to pursue the Pecos Freight Village that y'all have all been briefed on in the past. And the in-kind match contribution comes from the land valued at that location. And essentially, we're just asking for y'all's permission to sign the grant agreement so we can go.
This one that shows on our computer is a different number than the one shown on the agenda.
Yes, and it's been corrected for the official document. It has been corrected from, I believe, 0201 to 02. Or what?
Well, which one is the right one?
This one?
Which one is the right one? This
The one on the
one?
agenda, yes, sir.
And this one's not.
It was working earlier, I promise.
It's okay.
Aside from the resolution numbering, there are no other changes.
So the resolution is 01, that's the right one? Or the one
Yes,
on the?
01 is the correct number.
Okay.
Well, is there actually another resolution that's 02?
No, sir, I think that was just a mistype from an earlier agenda.
Parker, can we go ahead and vote on this?
Yeah.
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 260502.
I'll second.
Is that the right one?
She said the agenda was correct.
Yep. I'll second on the computer and on the paper.
We have a motion from Councilman Graham, a second from Councilman Saldana to approve resolution 26-05-02R as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries. We will go to item F4. Discuss, consider resolution 26-05-03R, a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve a contract amendment with Park Hill for additional architecture and design services totaling $72,565 for the City Council Chamber project for the city directed scope changes, Strategic Goal 6, sound governance and physical management. And you're not Nicole.
No, Mayor, I'm not. Mayor and Council, Griffin Moreland, Assistant to the City Manager. In your packet, you will find 26-05-03R. This is a change order that the city initiated. We have been meeting with Park Hill over the last several months and with the City Council Chambers project. And we kind of met with them, and we were taking y'all's considerations into account when y'all were asking for a wow factor, and something that kind of makes it speak to, it's the people's chamber, it's where y'all will do your business. So we wanted to keep that in mind when we figured out what that wow factor was. So that being said, we included more tech. We made sure that the design was more befitting Pecos, what its brand was. There were other design changes. We have formally separated the building, so you'll see in this TV image right here, that's the original plan that y'all saw back in the fall. Basically, that storage area, that's gone now. It's now a tentative breezeway, assuming changes are approved tonight, and a little small change to the floor plan that will be shown later on. But essentially, that's what we're looking at. I also have with me Luke with Park Hill to kind of just go over what the rendition change was, and I'm happy to pass it over to him.
Thanks, Griffin. Luke Quavey, Senior Associate at Park Hill, and I've got Jose de los Santos here. He is your designer. And so what we wanted to do tonight was come and give you guys an update on some of the discussions like Griffin talked about we've been having with the city staff, and answer any questions you may have and show you a couple of images. So if you go to the next image, Jesus. So this was what you guys saw end of last year. Interior chambers, go one more over. Yeah, and so this is the updated to the exterior that we're working with and working on. And basically what we want to do is come to you guys today and just say, hey, if this is approved, we will head in this direction. If not, we'll head the direction we've been headed. It's totally your call, but we didn't want to move forward until we got approval from you guys on this. And so I'm going to bring in Jose and have him kind of talk through these images, and then we'll be here for any questions you have for us.
Thank you, Luke. So to start off, we appreciate having the time to come and talk to you guys. This will be the first time coming face to face to you guys. So of course, when developing these updated renders, the primary goal was to create a facility that feels more than just functional. We wanted to feel like a true civic destination for the city of Pecos. The design team, Liz, our interiors, myself, our PA, Tyler, that you have met, I think, the previous meeting, and of course, Luke, doing a project manager, focused on creating a stronger first impression and introducing a greater sense of identity, pride, and presence for both residents and visitors arriving at the building. If you go back to the exterior, please. Thank you, sir. On the exterior, the approach was centered around openness and modern civic character. The expanded glazing and clean architectural forms create a more welcoming entry experience while allowing the building to feel transparent and connected to the community. The perforated masonry feature wall was intentionally integrated from the existing building that we are currently in to provide texture, shadow, and visual depth throughout the day, helping give the facility a recognizable architectural identity. The overall composition was designed to feel modern and refined, and still remain in the timeless and appropriate for the city. If you'll go into the interior, please. Inside the council chamber, the focus shifted towards creating an experience that reflected the importance of the civic process, while also making the space feel warm, engaging, and memorable. One of the key design elements is a flowing wood ceiling feature, which was developed to create a strong visual centerpiece and immediately elevate the room upon entry. The ceiling introduces movement, warmth, and architectural character while helping soften the traditional institutional feel often associated with the government chambers. We took into account the changes from previous meetings to introduce more accessible AVL and electrical equipment at the additional stations as seen on the desk provided on the right side of the image. The material palette and lighting were carefully selected to create a balanced environment that feels professional yet welcoming. The chamber was designed not only to function efficiently for council meetings and public gatherings, but also to communicate investment in the future for Pecos. Every design decision was made with the intent of creating space that council members, staff, and residents can feel proud of. A space that represents growth, leadership, and a forward-looking vision for the community. Overall, these renders reflect an effort to create a civic environment that leaves a lasting impression while still remaining the grounded, functional, and representative of the people it serves. Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
What's going to be the city capacity for attendees?
So seating capacity, that was one of the changes. Originally we were around 35 and now we're around 50 plus. So,
A much better number.
yeah, and then the lobby also got a little bit larger to facilitate that increase, but also to give a little bit more space just in the in-between and things like that. So if there's overflow, the lobby will be able to carry some of that. We'll have some AVL in the lobby for those meetings to still be, they'll be a part of the meetings.
From the last wall, from the last row of seats to the wall, how much is there standing?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to say we were about 6 to 7 feet from that last row as to the doors.
2 rows of people standing, maybe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, you know, with that, with the egress out, all that stuff, we've got enough room for them to get through. And also, you could facilitate another row back there if you really needed to, and still have enough egress to get through.
We're following the fire code.
Yes, sir.
The amount of people that-
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So this amendment is just an additional 72,000.
Yes, sir. On top of our fee. And so what it is basically the changes are, we got to rework some things because we were already about 70% through plans. And so the changes came after that, 72% or 70%. So we've got to rework some things with that. And then also the scope changed. And so there's more scope that we have to take care of and help implement and also help coordinate with IT, with ABL, and those types of things. And so that's what that fee adjustment represents.
Is that carpet?
Yes, sir.
We're going to do carpet?
That's certainly up for discussion, but that was the intent, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This is more of a concept idea and render. That way we can get more visual representation. But talking to Liz, anything that we've shown here, we do have physical samples that we can show. And like I said, this is more of a concept idea. And if there is any other changes, carpet, tile, texture, we can facilitate that once we get into the drawings.
I think Councilman Cross could also sound, right? It's a big deal. We talked about that in our last meeting of just the acoustics and making sure that we're outside, it's not bleeding in like, you know, this chamber is or does. And so with that, the carpet will help in acoustics. It's also, you know, for our civic spaces, something that we do. It's high tread, you know, long lasting. But if that's a direction we need to switch, then that's obviously something we can take care of.
What about soundproof for the heavy commercial vehicles passing by?
So you'll notice we've got that tower element out front for our lobby to, you know, give you some significance of where you're going to come in, where you're going to enter. Right. And then the chambers is pretty well closed off. And so there's some intent in that for security, but also for sound. And so we've got insulation around the outside, rigid insulation around the outside, and then on the inside we have insulation within the interior walls too. And then our roof deck, of course, has rigid insulation as well. So we've really heard, you know, obviously we've experienced this space and we understand it. And so I think some of being on the north side of this building is also going to help because you're going to be further away from the road. But we've taken in a lot of consideration in the STC, sound transmission coefficient ratings, and how we're delivering this building.
We'll be closer to the train then.
It will be, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was just thinking that.
I know.
We're all the third, but we're closer to the break.
That's right. That's right.
So does it have easy egress, you know, like on the backside in case of emergency?
Yes, sir. So there's egress out. You can't see it, but to the right, going out to the east, there's egress through the lobby as well as to the backside by the executive.
We got 3.
Yes, sir. So we've tried to make sure, one, obviously we have life safety, health safety, and welfare that's our creed. We've got to make sure we meet the codes, building and fire, and energy. So those are going to be non-negotiables no matter which way you guys go. And then everything else is more just making sure we get the right. Again, this is a big step for you guys, and we want this to be another 50 years in that space. So we want to make sure it's what you guys need and want, and reflects your community.
How does that space compare to this space we got here? Because sometimes we've had some big meetings,
right,
you know, and it's all the way back to the
right. It's not as It's wider, but it's not as deep as this space. But that's why kind of the lobby aspect of it, we can have overflow into that lobby with the technology that we're going to add.
I guess from the lobby to the chambers, that's the one door here at the far right corner.
And that's the old plan. So we haven't gone in and updated the floor plan to what is on this proposed amendment, just because again we didn't want to do all the work and then not get an amendment passed and then have to come back. So we will have plans ready for you guys. The schedule on our end, we're not asking for more fee on construction administration or anything like that. It's really just to get back, redo, and finish. And we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks to have you complete a set of plans from tonight.
Put you right in the middle of that wall, put a sliding door, double door that way.
Yes, sir. So we did talk about that. So this here is, it's a sliding partition door. But what we've done, we sat down with staff, worked through some things. We have large 8-foot opening doors that can open out into that lobby and then connect to the space. So the sliding partitions, from a cost standpoint, you've got to have structure for them. There's a lot of cost implications. So to be fiscally a little bit more responsible in how we're delivering this, but also have the openness for those larger meetings, because every meeting's not a large meeting.
No.
And so when we were talking with the city staff about all that, it was, how can we be intentional and provide for those larger meetings that happen once in a while, without, there you go. Without doing a lot of added cost on something that's not going to be used that much, right? And so we've, in our updated plan, you'll see, I think 3 large, is it 3 or 2? Yes, sir. Three large open doors that will stand open. And look, you'll be able to see through and see everything and still be a part of that. So,
I don't have any more questions on that. So, anybody else have questions? I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 26-05-03R, authorizing the city to approve a contract with the city manager to amendment in Park Hill.
Second.
Have a motion from Councilman Carrasco, a second from Councilman Saldana to approve Resolution 26-05-03R as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Oh, when are we starting to break ground?
so we are 6 to 8 weeks out from having bid set of documents ready, and then we'll go into public bid. And that usually takes around a month, and then groundbreaking once we select a general contractor to do the work. So you're looking at 3 to 4 months after summer, right? Late, early fall is what it's looking like.
And how long is the construction part of it?
I've told man, these are hard-hitting questions. I've told Charles, we usually, something like this, 14 months, 12 to 14 months. It just depends on the construction climate, because you just never know when it's going to be. And then of course our trades and the team we can get out here. But I would say conservatively 14 months, and that's where I would start. So, all right.
Charles, are we going to comp the permit, please?
Yes, sir. We're going to double them, right?
Yeah, I told them, I said, hey, I know you guys are reviewing our plans for code, but we're still licensed. We still have to, we're not going to cut corners just because you guys, it's your building. So, all right. Thank y'all.
Put a fly fan for me.
Say that again?
A fly fan, please. Make sure you add that.
We'll work on it, just like this. Thank y'all.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, we'll go to item F5, update from sports facility companies on sports organizations following the sports EPA conference. Thomas Ward.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council, pleasure to be here. Thomas Ward, General Manager for Cyclone Ballparks. So I just wanted to come and kind of update you from a conference that I attended a couple of weeks ago with Savannah from the CVB, where we got to meet with rights holders, industry partners, individuals that would be interested in working with us either from a business perspective or as putting on events, as well as interacting and continuing with that support from SFC as we went in addition to a whole slew of staff from the SFC that help support us and get us connected to other rights holders, which will be part of what we talk about today. Clicker's not working. Oh, there we go. So just a quick overview of what Sports ETA is. Sports ETA is the Sports Events Tourism Association. So this was their annual meeting hosted in Las Vegas this year. It's a non-profit trade organization for sports events tourism. It's been in operation since 1992. They help connect people, businesses, and people who want to run events. Through the conference, we get direct one-on-one meetings with potential rights holders and decision makers for various organizations that we can help discuss their needs, what they're wanting from a facility, from a city, so we can help provide that support on a direct basis and tell them what we have. Emails only go so far, calls can only go so far. That one-on-one, face-to-face really has a massive impact on these conversations. So I want to go through some of the key conversations we had while we were there, some of our more positive conversations. Unfortunately, not every conversation is a winner. We had some with people that their whole thing is sports travel, so they help book hotels. That doesn't help us. We need the people to come book the hotels. So we focus more on those. We connected the Fuji Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with PBT ISD. We're continuing to help that conversation. They wanted to meet with us, and so we were open to it. They did list potentially doing outdoor events. However, that was mostly during COVID, so we more so focused on, okay, what spaces do we have here in town that we can help direct them to? Mike Peters was very open to the idea, so we're going to continue to help kind of push that and then see how we as Cyclone are able to help support those events going forward as well. We also met with national representatives from USSSA Baseball, which is the same people that we've had out here for the tournament in February. We continued conversations with them, let them know how great it was and how excited we are to continue that partnership with their local tournament directors, as well as they connected us with their state director for Texas, so we can continue to push that conversation, start to try to have conversations about maybe state events, not just our regional events. So continue to push that conversation forward. Athletes Unlimited, they are the professional softball organization, so the counter to the MLB. We spoke with them in regards to outreach camps, community events, especially if they're traveling through this area, having a stop here, reach out, because our local high school softball team did fantastic this year, and I think there's some great opportunities to connect them with Athletes Unlimited to help share those resources of what potential future for them could be if they want to pursue that. Another one we talked to was Prospect Wire. We were connected to them directly through another general manager, Jamie Cox, out of the Legends Event Center in Bryan, Texas. He has a lot of background with sporting events across the country, especially with our company, and he connected us with them about having some of their events out here. We had a very positive conversation. They were very excited about the potential, so we're continuing to have that conversation to see what dates might be available in 2027 to get them out here. Unfortunately, they've already kind of finalized their fall, so we won't be able to get them this year, but we are starting to look at what spring looks like for next year. Promotix, they're actually a current partner with Cyclone. We, through SFC, we were able to get a discount that we only pay $1 per ticket sold. So there's no monthly fees, there's no upkeep, there's no credit card charges that we have to pay to them, none of that. We just pay $1 per ticket. So we can continue to utilize them for any of our events, special events, things like that where we need tickets. We have also utilized them for raffles and gathering community information of people coming into our facility, so we can collect their contact information to continue to reach out to them and let them know what we have coming up. Main Attraction Recreational Sports was another one. They operate a lot of different types of events, but their biggest thing is actually called Turf Wars. It's a kickball tournament series that they run. We showed them the facility, showed them our website, what we have available, and they were very excited. So we're going to continue that conversation. Hopefully be able to get some of them, get them out here in the fall, especially going into the spring. We think we'll be able to get a couple of events with them. Last couple that I have that I wanted to go over, we had Legend to Legacy. They're a nonprofit foundation that focuses on flag football. They actually operate through USA Flag. Part of what their goal is to actually educate young athletes about what it takes to become someone in the NFL. to make it to the NFL, to become a professional athlete. So they teach about the finances and the, you know, the agents and the connections that you need to make and the, you know, the way you carry yourself. So there's education piece of it too, which is part of the reason I really like the conversation with him. He loves the idea of putting flag football on baseball diamonds. He loves how that looks, so he's very interested in continuing to work with us and get us some events going into next year. Another one that we talked with was Kick It 3v3 Soccer. They're highly interested because we just have a lot of space. So with 3v3 Soccer, you don't really need a whole lot of space. We estimate we can probably put 3 fields on each of our diamonds, which means with 8 physical fields, we can get a lot of games going, which means big events and a lot of people staying in hotels. So that's another conversation we are continuing to have. And then finally, Top Gun Events. They actually reached out to us and sought us out specifically through their connections with other facilities in our network. Dave Pritchett is one of our VPs. He actually recommended that they reach out to us and talk to us as they expand here into Texas, and especially West Texas. They do fast pitch events. They do a kind of a high tier fast pitch event. Again, trying to bridge that gap to professional play. And so they've already got dates that they're looking at for this fall. And, you know, knock on wood, things go well, they're going to give us a lot more events next year. Some of the other conversations we had were just other smaller rights holders. Most of them weren't able to go anywhere, primarily location-wise. They're not interested in West Texas. They're not even close to being able to come to West Texas for the most part, because when it comes to these events, they need resources. And that means transporting those resources, and if they're coming from Virginia, they're spending a ton of money to get here. And they're just not interested in investing that at this time. But we did have those conversations about what it looks like in the future as they continue to expand their operations of, you know, hey, keep us in mind and we'll keep you in mind. So I just wanted to give some of those key things. We had some great conversations, a lot of support for what we're trying to do, a lot of interest in what we're trying to do. We created a special website specifically for rights holders. We put it on the back of our business cards so that they could scan it, go directly to it. I emailed it to them before the event, had a lot of them already look at it before we went, and they loved what they saw. So they're loving what we're doing, and hopefully, you know, next time I come in front of you, I'll have some of these already locked down to be able to tell you. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now.
I don't have any questions on item F5.
Thank you so much.
We'll go to item F6, discuss, consider resolution 26-05-04R, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute and negotiate a professional services agreement with Sports Facility Companies, SFC, for the management and operations of the Pecos Cyclone ballparks with an annual management fee of $222,000 plus operating expenses and facility costs estimated at approximately $1,305,213 annually, for a total annual cost of $1,527,213. Strategic Goal 6, sound governance and fiscal management. And they're not Nicole again.
Still not Nicole, Mayor. Mayor and Council, Griffin Moreland, Assistant to the City Manager. In your packet, you will find Resolution 26-05-04R. And this resolution culminates in the RFQ process that we engaged in this spring for the rebidding of the Cyclone Ballparks contract for the next 5 years. The staff sent out this RFQ back in late April. It was open pretty much all of April, and it was judged and scored mid-May up until about 3 days ago. So we have the results in. We had one bid come in from Sports Facilities Company, and the average score was 83 out of 100, and we had 3 city staff members independently judged according to state procurement law. Just a current reminder on the current contract, it does expire on August 1st, and city staff does recommend that we accept this bid.
Go ahead, Councilman.
No, all I was going to say was only one bid came in?
Yes, sir.
How far out were the rest sent?
I'm sorry?
How far out from here were the requests sent?
So the process was followed just per the usual RFQ process. It was posted in the paper and as well as our city website. This one does appear to not have gotten as far. However, that same process has yielded out-of-state bidders in the past, such as Foresight for SS4A and Connected Nation for our broadband. So take that for what you will.
What I'd like to see is, if possible, is table this and let's put an RFQ out. I want to see some competition on this thing. This $1,527,000 that we're paying. We'll only have one good tournament this year that I know of. And it's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. So, but I'd like to see somebody else put in their bid. The initial bids that we did back in 2019, 2020, I think 3 came in. So I'm just wondering what else is out there. Who else is out there that can manage something like this? This is a almost $40 million project that we invested, and we need some wins in this particular project.
Yes, sir. Not to contradict what you're saying, we certainly hear that. Oh my gosh, SFC does recognize goodness gracious, what am I trying to say here? They recognize the kind of what you guys have been saying over the past year, and they have proposed to lower their fee in response to that. It was also kind of the sentiment and feeling of city staff in general that really in the last year, since the grand opening of the phase 2 was really done, that working relationship and that momentum has been felt. So there is kind of a sentiment that let's try it out again. Once again, the discretion does rest with y'all, but city staff also makes a recommendation to potentially include a clause in the contract to where council decides a metric, staff decides a metric that we will hold them to, and then there's a clause that we can break it because you didn't meet that metric. Again, that's completely discretionary to you guys, but that is an option that staff is considering should you decide to accept the bid.
Well, by observation, in respect to Councilman Sedania's opinion, what I've seen from council is they consistently have expressed their concerns regarding this company's mismanagement of the facility throughout their tenure. And despite our repeated requests for improvement, we've settled for less and lowered our standards. And accepting the current situation as acceptable is not acceptable. And to me, Charles, my question is to you and your leadership staff. What due diligence did you undertake to explore alternative options to provide this council with more options moving forward?
Councilman Carrasco, one of the things that we did talk about, to give you a little bit of perspective, is we did follow everything that we've done historically in the past. And to Councilman Saldana's piece, I was disappointed when we don't get multiple bids. And, you know, this contract, if it was to move forward, it's going to take some serious negotiation in the agreement. I can tell you that when I came in, this agreement was approved 1 month after I got here. And this agreement, the way that it was done initially, from my perspective, had and left a lot on the table from the city's perspective. It was extremely vendor friendly. And so anything that we would try to move forward from that standpoint, I think we have to do a much better job as a staff and as a city to negotiate in the benefit of the city to make sure that we have the upper hand, not the other way around. And again, nothing against the way that it was done. We followed everything that we needed to when it was done. Mayor and council at the time and the city manager at the time got it through with the city attorney. I would have done something different, but I didn't have that option back then. This has to be looked at. This facility is the best facility in the region, and it should be managed and ran that way. So it's going to take a significant amount of negotiation with whoever we engage to make sure that it's beneficial and responsive to us.
You know, we got what allowed us to the contract expires, right? I suggest that we put it out for bid again. And again, if we're where we're at now, like you said, we got a matrix here, a scoring matrix, but we need to put a lot of clauses even to the point of a year we don't see improvements.
And I think there's an opportunity. As Griffin stated earlier, the contract technically expires in August. There's a provision in there that can be carried on month to month with the acceptance from sports facilities. I think we could, per council's direction, if we need to get something out from an RFQ standpoint, ensure that it goes out, take a wider grasp at it and make sure that we can at least get multiple bidders. I do not like when we get one bidder because it puts us in a predicament, okay? With that being said, nothing was done wrong.
No.
But we didn't get the response that we needed to. So we can move it, whatever the direction of council, we'd be more than happy to take it forward with that direction.
And that's the gamble if we table it for more time, getting up for bids, see if we get any other bidders, but.
What I'd like to see is if possible, is we have a board now. I'd like to see the board get involved in it because they're the ones that actually have kind of experience about, with tournaments and all that, because some of these guys are already having tournaments themselves. I mean, they're traveling elsewhere to play ball when we can be playing ball in our facility. So however we do this, if we're gonna put it up for RFQ and the negotiations, I'd like to see the board get involved with it.
Councilman Saldana, I think it would be a great idea to bring some of the board members into the evaluation process.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that would be highly supported. I think that would be a great move from the council and mayor to do something like that. It would augment staff because not all of staff are going to be qualified to take a look at it. And not qualified, but have the perspective that needed to happen from that standpoint.
Part of, like you said, in negotiations and stuff like that, because you already have enough in your plate. We don't need you being in or that's why we put a board together, this particular board, because this one, we want it more active, and so, we need them to be having their meetings, and that way they can start setting up how we're gonna do this.
Yes, sir, and I think if they could come up with something internally and have that board meeting and come up with an evaluation group, because they know themselves better as to who has the most knowledge from that standpoint. That would be a great team to put on an evaluation process along with city staff. City staff has to be involved only due to procurement law. For that reason, we can choose anyone we want to help evaluate, but we do have to have city staff involved for this too.
And I'll say this. They've done the facility is great. It's great. I mean, I love being out there when I get a chance to go out there. And so I don't knock them down on that, but we need more. For what we spend, we need more. For what we spend in a month, we definitely need more. And I don't know how to fix that. I don't. But we got, they're experts. They know more. Whatever negotiations we get done, but I want to involve the board. And Councilman Carrasco and myself are just, we're not voting members, we're just there.
Ex officials, yes, sir.
Ex officials to that. But I like to see those negotiations go, and if there's no more questions, I'd like to table.
Nice to have a couple. So, y'all started in 21, or was it 20?
It was 21, Councilman Graham.
Okay, so
June of 2021.
26 now, 5 years.
Yes, sir.
I kept looking when I got on the council. I kept looking each month, and there's $100,000 loss, $120,000 loss every month. I never saw anything. And giving y'all 5 years to turn this thing around, and it hadn't happened. If it's in the business world, y'all probably would have been fired in 22. So something's got to be different. I've had a long enough time to get this thing turned around and to make money. And that's what we want. We want somebody to come in here and make money. We've spent a lot of money on these facilities and stuff, so we need to see a rate of return on this, and we have not seen that. So I don't know if anybody else can do it, but I'd like to give that a try. Somebody else to come in here and do something.
So, before the council tables this resolution, I am very observant, being at the Cyclone 3 times a week, And this does tie into the agenda because this is very important moving forward, and I need the leadership staff to hear this. Thomas, when you're not in charge, when you're not at the Cyclone, who's under you? Who's in charge?
When I am not physically at Cyclone, we do have managers on duty that are representative of our management team. So they are there responsible for the facility, and part of their responsibilities is communicating back to me any issues or concerns.
Who's your manager?
We have 3 of them directly that are manager on duties that we rotate throughout the week. We also have, of course, the management leadership staff that are periodically out there as well.
The reason I'm asking is because my observation, I'm at the Cyclone 3 times a week. And in the last couple of 3 months, I haven't seen much of your presence after 5 p.m. at the Cyclone. And that really disappoints me because this is the Little League running a baseball and softball season full speed, which allows us to see the challenges and some of the things for improvement. And when you're not at the Cyclone, what I see is 4 high school kids in a golf cart with excessive speeding. I see an overstaffed concession stand of 5 to 6 employees. This is based upon my observation and some of my board members as well. I see kids running around playing in playground unattended on our fields without any safety equipment, with no leadership staff, without pointing fingers to Little League or anybody else. To take that to consideration that these fields are there, we're there to protect the city's best interests. And knowing the frustration of this council, that adds more to the fire. And I mean, these are some of the things that we are seeing out there. Another thing that I have seen based upon feedback, I am very engaged out there at the Cyclone. And there's no reason why we're waiting on parts for when a popcorn machine is down. Common sense will tell you to have a maintenance staff during the most busiest times to where we need to be open before 6 p.m. We're opening at 6 p.m. while games are running at 5, so we're losing profit. To your question, Councilman Graham, is because if we open an hour before, our profit will probably increase. We need to think outside the box. And it is not my job as a council to do the work for you guys as we did in the past, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's that you have to do a better job to develop relationships out there, see what's going on, and not tell us that the status of a part has been like that for 6 months, being the icing machine. Last night, for example, I had 5 to 6 people complain of headaches, where I had to contact Jerry Bullard because we don't have 4 gas monitors on location because of a drilling rig across the street, so they had to come monitor. These are things that you live and breathe there, being the manager, that you would observe these things. East Coast Sports, for an example, I have Frankie Ramos reaching out to East Coast Sports and trying to put sectionals here in Waco. We need to bring Waco to us. Instead of us going to Vegas, which is fine, I mean, you did what you had to do, but instead of us, we need to bring that in their budget to come to us to hold sectionals here and put it within the budget till we fly them down, wine them and dine them, and show them our product. So right now, I mean, these are just amongst the many things that I've seen, including the scoreboards are not working. We don't have cameras up for families that cannot go all the way to the Cyclone to see the games. The Field 7, where all the girls are playing softball this year, nobody's taking it upon themselves to sign off to say there's no handicap access for people to get down. You have seniors that can't even climb up and down those steps because they have to walk 60 yards to get to those fields because we can't. You know, these are some of the things that I'm sure everybody else has seen, but I have our board here, and our board is very observant as well. I mean, we're constantly out there. And if you guys have any other questions or concerns, I would like for you guys to address that.
May I speak to some of the things that you mentioned just to help give some more information about what's been going on? I'm not trying to defend anything, I'm just trying to help clarify and give some more information to council, if that's okay.
Last question really quick.
Yeah.
The most important one in the room. I see workers using heavy equipment. Are they all certified?
Yes, sir.
Can you provide the certificates by tomorrow morning?
By tomorrow morning, I will work with my staff to get that, yes.
All the people that are using the forklifts, skids, tiers, man lifts are certified?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, my maintenance manager, Tommy Trevino, is here. He's in charge of that crew, and he has all of that, yeah.
Good.
Yep. So to some of your points, so in terms of overstaffed concession stands, recently we have overstaffed because we've been training new staff. I'm trying to up our number of staff so I have less concern about call-outs, as well as get staff trained up when we do have events so that we can cover things. At that previous tournament, we did have to do some extended hours for our staff. I don't really want to do that. I want to give my staff the chance to take a break, go home, get some sleep, get something to eat.
I'm talking about Little League, not the tournament.
I know, but I'm just saying that's why we have been overstaffed right now, is because I'm giving my staff a chance to train up, get familiar with our operation, while it's not a heavy tournament.
3 months worth of overstaffing?
It has not been that long. We've only overstaffed for the past 3 weeks, I would say. And that's because I've been bringing on so many staff members and training them up, and they need time to get adjusted to our operation. In terms of the golf carts, that concern about the speed was brought to my attention, and we did rectify that immediately. We talked to the staff, we told them what our expectations were, and gave them ultimatums of if they did it again, they were gone. Some of those staff have actually been let go for other reasons, and we continue to monitor that to maintain safety in that regard.
But if you were boots on the ground, I haven't seen you out there in 3 months. If you were boots on the ground, you would see this with your own eyes and address those issues. There is no leadership out there.
I am out there regularly throughout the week. I may not be visible because a lot of my job does require me to be behind the scenes helping manage everything. I will make
What do you mean not visible?
I will make a concerted effort to be out more in front of everyone. So I do apologize that you haven't been able to see me, but I am out
So
there.
you're saying you're inside an office while all the operations are running?
I go out and I check on them periodically, but when things are running smoothly, there's not much for me to do except continue to do the reporting and paperwork that I am
We
responsible
don't need
for.
you to do that during the busiest times when kids are running around and putting our city at a high liability risk.
And-
These are the times to see the things, to
Of
know
course.
when to correct them so you can address them with your leadership and your staff.
And of course, and to that point with kids running around, our policies are that kids are responsible from the parents. Parents are responsible for their kids and the safety of their kids while on site. If we see something unsafe, we do act on it. But kids playing on a playground, that falls under parents need to be able to observe their own kids and manage the safety of their kids in that situation. So we are monitoring that. I do appreciate the feedback, and we will make a concerted effort to improve and make those changes.
Do you staff you as manager, are you working during the day more than at night?
Most of the time, yes, because that's when most business hours are for the people we are trying to work with and connect with.
Do it make more sense to work at night to see everything that's going on to address those things? Instead of us bringing it to your attention?
I mean, I was aware of all of this, and so I will adjust my time so I do more time in the evening. I am putting in 60 to 70 hours a week at this time, so I will continue to do so and shift my time so I can be out there a lot more.
I have no further questions at this moment. I'd like to table this item to get more aggressive on negotiating, finding a professional company that's going to take the consideration and the vision of the council to set higher standards. It's going to be proactive, not reactive. So I'd like to make a motion to table resolution 26-0504R until we find other ways on how to.
Before I second it, I'd just like to add, the one thing I agree with you, Thomas, is parents tend to take their kids, and if I offend people, I'm sorry. You know? But it is up to the parents to take care of the kids, not the staff. The staff are there to work with you, to work the games, to work concession stands. And on the flip side, I haven't been out there in a long time, but I did see kids, teenagers, on a golf course, always. I stopped them. I would adopt them. You know, but I agree with Councilman Carrasco. You might rotate your hours. I know 60, 70 hours is a lot of hours. But you might want to adjust your schedule to be there for afterwards. So, with that, now, second.
Council, may I say something? Yeah, Jessica Cool again with Sports Facilities Companies. I just want to acknowledge and say that, yes, we can do better. And I want to acknowledge that. We can do better, and we need to do better. And I understand that it needs to go back out to RFP, and I do respect your decision. And know what City Manager Lino said is that we do want to negotiate. We want what's best for the city of Pecos. And I do have other accounts, but I love coming here. I've been here monthly for the last 12 to 16 months. I personally don't want to lose this account, but it is a business decision and you have to do what's best for your community. And I understand that and I respect that. So on behalf of our company, we do need to do better. And I have told my leadership that it's our goal that if we do get the opportunity to serve you, that we do a better job in the next 1 year to 5 years. And then just finally, Thomas is doing a great job. For those of you that were here when he was first hired to now, I am very proud of the work and the growth that I have personally seen from him with his leadership, his attention to detail. He has done a great job. And there are some improvements that we need to continue to do. Councilman Graham, you've mentioned that, we're losing money monthly. We don't have very many full-time folks. We have really tried to make a lot of people part-time to save on that. And, I'm not here daily, and I will look at this management schedule to make sure that our general manager is there during the week, during Little League, when I know that there's been lots of problems with Little League, and to make sure that we do have some full-time folks out there. I will say, however, Frank Ramos has been out there as well, and he's been to the facility before I was even here. And we do trust Frank to really although he may not be a full-time employee, we do trust him at night. That's where he gets his hours, so he's out there at night, and we've talked with him so Thomas can be there during the day. So I will look at the hours. I will commit to you to make sure that Thomas is out there at night, so we do feel safe and we keep it clean and organized. So I don't want to take any more of your time, but I did want to I am proud of Thomas and his staff, and I do think they've been doing a great job, and we can continue to get better. Thank you.
So we have a motion from Councilman Carrasco to table this item and to get more bids. Second from Councilman Arona. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
We'll go to item F7, discuss consider resolution 26-05-05R, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with professional surveying services with Payne Industries LLC for city council directed modification of scope of work for the 2021 and 2022 annexation project, strategic goal 6, sound governance and fiscal management.
Mayor and Council, Charles Lino, City Manager. I'm bringing this back before you all with the modifications that we made, that we discussed related to passing the annexation with the carve-outs that we have. We have to get surveys done on each one of the properties that were left out in order to provide to CAD, so that CAD has the appropriate items that they need in order to properly make sure that everybody is taxed the way that they're supposed to. So I'm bringing an amendment before you all, and the cost, the tentative cost with the same survey group that we've been using would be $183,000 that it's going to cost to get these properties surveyed. This is something that I had no clue what what the cost would be, but this is the cost that we've been given. So I'm bringing it back before you all to have this discussion and see how Mayor and Council want to do. We're going to have to get this done due to the annexation. We're utilizing the same vendor right now, but it's at the discretion of the council what we want to do.
So is he going to survey the land that we annexed or the land that we did not annex?
He's going to survey the land that we did not annex, the 47 parcels, I believe it was.
Just around 404, 407 area. And the reason why we have to survey it?
Because we have to give that to CAD, so that CAD knows which ones are in the city limits and which properties are not in the city limits.
Okay, my concern has been all along, I want to know the cost. And we're not doing our jobs. I had somebody come in and talk to me today. They're in the city limits. They've built multiple buildings, and the city never provided a sewer line to them. They didn't do the roads, and they've been out there for quite a while. And we're just not taking care of business on this. And why do we want to add more land in there until we can get our infrastructure going and get enough money to get that done? And they had to pay half the water line too to deliver facilities, and it just doesn't make sense. And then you go down Texas Street, and notice that there's like 4 lots with homes on them, there's no curbs. And so we've just got a lot of work to do. And the people that we talked to that came in for the annexations, they're talking about, they're saying, well, get your own act together, and then, before you annex. I don't think we have our act together.
We're following our service plans, Councilman Graham, and we are getting things done that way. We do have, no excuse, I wish I could do it all at once, but we can't. So it is done piecemeal, it is done a little bit at a time, but we do have 36 months to get that done once we do annex. And the reason that I was pushing for the annexation that you all approved is to incorporate the TERS. And once we get the TERS incorporated and we get some of this development that's going on up there, we will be able to finance that through the TERS fund and debt finance it and take care of all of it at one point in time. Right now, the city doesn't have the means to do that. So the plan, the tentative financing plan would be to utilize the TERS in order to take care of all of that business. And the TERS is not a tax to the citizens. It is a recovery from the other taxing entities that we would do. So
I'm with the turf yard.
Yeah.
But I just can't see it. Of course, I've always wanted the taxpayers to have more of a say-so in the annexations. And so, Seth and them threw something together. They didn't give any consideration. And we go all the way out to 869, I believe, the city limits do. I mean, we've got tons of undeveloped land.
Yes, sir.
I just, and we're responsible for that. We're responsible to do the infrastructure out there, and we're just not doing that. So I'm sure not in favor of getting Payne and then hiring them to do that, surveying.
We could put it out for bid, Councilman Graham, and have somebody else do it. We do have to get this done in order to make sure that we accommodate. It has to be surveyed. This is the plan that was approved, so we do have to get it surveyed. We don't have a significant amount of choice to get it done. I have no problem putting it out for bid if that's the request that Mayor and Council want.
No, I don't want to do it at all.
The plan's already approved.
I know, let the plan expire. I mean, we can't handle what we've got, what we're putting.
This isn't related to any future or further annexation, Councilman Graham. This is the one that was approved a few weeks ago.
Well, that's what I thought she asked, if it was for the future annexation.
No, it's for the one that we just approved. This is to incorporate the 47.
I apologize.
No, I'm sorry. And again, I'm not talking as loud as I normally do, so I apologize for that too.
This is surveying the lands that we did not annex.
That we did not
in
annex,
this
so that we can give that to CAD, so they have
So they know where
accurate CAD
the holes
data.
are.
That's what this one is.
Okay.
So like Larry Woodya, he didn't get annexed. He'll know that he'll be protected from city tax.
He is.
Okay, so they're surveying that to make sure he doesn't get it.
That's 100%. That's what this purpose is, Councilman Graham.
Now I understand.
Yeah, this is to prevent the ones that opted out from being taxed for city taxes.
For protection.
I think they just used the appraisal district kind of map or tracks when they included it in the annexation. And this gives it an actual survey for each tract that was excluded.
He's too slow.
I have one question. If those 47 plots decided not to be part of the city, and then we go do infrastructure for the rest of them, how are we gonna not do curb and gutter? Are we just gonna leave gas?
We will not.
Because they don't, if they didn't want to be part of the city, then they don't need those things. They don't need the improvements of the street, they don't need the improvement of curb and gutter, so they didn't want to participate.
You can't skip them for a water line or.
We would not, but what it would happen from that standpoint is the utilization fees that they pay for water, sewer, and trash would be assessed at the out of city rate instead of the in city rate, and that would be based upon location. But as far as if we're putting in curb gutter and sidewalk all along an area, whether they're annexed or not, we're putting curb gutter and sidewalk along that entire area.
And that would be in the hopes of that.
We're also straying from the agenda.
Okay, sorry, Parker.
Want to come.
I'd like to see more bids, give more people the opportunity. We're so set on Payne Industries. I know we expressed some of our frustrations with them, and they got a little office building somewhere that I still haven't seen, but I'd like to see us not set on one and give.
And I agree on that.
more opportunity putting some bids. And I know you and your staff usually give recommendations, but as a small business owner in this local community, I'd rather see other businesses have the opportunity to bid on this. So I like,
Who was paying? What was the question?
you tell me. I
Who's
never
the
heard.
individual?
It's Philip Payne.
Philip Payne.
It's Philip Payne himself. He's a surveyor.
And his office is there behind.
Griselda's place. He has a local office there, and he did that in order to accommodate and comply with what
But he's
council
always got a
asked.
vehicle there, so.
Yeah, but again, I can't, I'm okay with a $183,000 bid, taking it out for bid, absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to make the motion to table this resolution and put it up for bid. Resolution 26-050R.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman Carrasco, a second from Councilman Saldana to consider, to put resolution 26-05-05R out for bid. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries. We go to item F8, update on potential land for the police department and criminal justice center, strategic goal 2, safe and secure city.
Mayor and Council, Charles Leno, City Manager. We have continued to work on this. I have additional information that I would love to share with the council, but right now we're in negotiations, so if we could, I would love to retire to executive so I can share the details on this information so that we don't jeopardize any of the ongoing conversations that we're having right now with some of the landowners that are around town.
Mayor, make a motion, we discuss this item in executive session and thus begin the whole session for executive session.
Second.
You want to do that?
Are we gonna skip F9?
Do we want to do F9 and then go to executive, or do we want to do?
F9.
Let's do F9, yeah.
Can I just see the motion? No, let's finish what you were saying.
So we're just gonna, do we have to have a motion to take this to executive?
You talking about F8?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the motion's proper.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Arona, second from Councilman Saldana to take item F8 into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show the motion carries. We'll go on to item F9, discuss, consider ordinance 26-04-01, an ordinance of the Town of Pecos City Council amending ordinance 20-05-02 regarding the public's right to address the governmental body, to increase the allotted time for public comment from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Strategic Goal 5, promote open and consistent communication.
Mayor, I'd like to not take any action on this item and take it off the agenda.
Cannot,
Did you want to table it or just not do it?
I'll do it again.
but can we go ahead and discuss it? 'Cause I think we need to do the form.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
I don't agree with the increasing the time limit. I know people think 3 minutes isn't a long time to speak, but 3 minutes is a long time to speak. If you have your ducks in a row, 3 minutes is plenty of time to get a message across. 5 minutes is a little long, and then if we have 10 or 15 people, we're an hour and a half in public comments before we even get to an agenda item.
Okay, so our current ordinance that we have in place right now that we adopted back in 2020 already allows us to use the form. We were using it mainly for COVID, when people weren't able to come into the council chambers. We did away with using it, but our current ordinance does allow us to use the public comment form.
I
So
think we should, that way we have everybody's name for the record, for sure. And then we can kind of organize, to me, we could kind of organize public speaking so that they're all on one topic at one time before we switch topics and we're not switching back and forth.
Okay, yeah, so back to Councilmember Orona's question, we wouldn't need an action. Our current ordinance already allows us to use that form.
So one thing, if we're gonna keep them, we gotta keep them on the agenda. Like Ms. Weinig was not on the item she discussed was not on the agenda.
Well, no, you can public comment that's not on the agenda, we just can't respond. We can put it on a further agenda, but we can't respond at that time.
You do have, the one caveat that's in there is, if you do, with this form that Wendy is talking about is you can sign up to speak on one of the agenda items as a public comment. So that is where there is an opportunity if it's addressing a certain thing to where it may give the opportunity for feedback that way. And they could sign up that way.
And so basically no action?
No action.
No action? Do we have to have add a motion?
Unless somebody has a motion.
Well, I make the motion to.
No action, it just dies.
So, no action, okay. So at this time, we're going to go to executive session under Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, real estate, 551.074, personal issues, and 551.087, economic development, and it is 6:56 p.m. Open session, and it is 7:23 PM. Is there anything from executive session to be brought in open session?
No.
No. Items for our next city council meeting.
The ROVs,
What did we table?
ordinance.
The,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we tabled
Sports facilities.
the contract
For the sports facility.
for sports facilities.
Both of those will be rebids, so RFQs, so we'll put those out for
Okay.
bid, that one and Payne's.
And the paint, okay.
So I'll ask that we
those-
don't put it until we get the RFQs back.
Okay.
Would 2 weeks be enough to send out bids?
No, because they have to do them out for 30 days, don't they, or something like that?
Well, we have to, what we'll do, Councilman Graham, is I think we can get them done and issued. We're May 14th now. I think we could get probably something issued out by the end of May, have it back by the end of June, and then evaluate in July to where we can move it. That's probably as quick as we could, about 6 weeks.
Can we contact some of those ones out there and just say, hey, are you interested?
We will absolutely do that. I've had one reach out after the fact. It was with Kemper Sports, so we will reach out to Kemper Sports on that. Absolutely. And I also would like to reach out to the ones that are doing the water park, because they have some expertise in that too. So I want to make sure that we have at least 3 or 4 to evaluate, to take to the Cyclone Local Government Corporation meeting, so that we can have it that way, get at least options.
Okay.
Anything else for our next meeting?
Like I said, the ROVs, recreational vehicles, ordinance.
It's gonna be summertime, they're gonna be out again.
They have not stopped.
Somebody races up and down my street, I don't know who it is.
The chief's looking at me over there like, no. That's it.
Nothing else? Okay, then we adjourn, and it is 7:25 PM.
Thank you.